Which Matt you're talking to.
Both.
Good morning.
All right, go ahead, Jack.
All right. So, guys, I'm going to start off on kind of a sad note. Our EMS star of life is a little less dim the last few weeks because of losses that we've had. Back on December 4th, Ed Wedge died, longstanding member of Penny and Ambulance, a huge corner pillar of EMS in the Finger Lakes, active at state level. Passed after a long fight with cancer. Jason Bortle, December 21st, very active Monroe Livingston, the Finger Lakes region, Finger Lakes Ambulance, also passed after a long battle with cancer. And this past weekend, Daryl Toombs from the Southern Tier, 29 years with EMS that I'm aware of, a long battle with COVID, struggled for well over a week and finally succumbed. So if we can have a moment of silence for those three, their efforts, their energy, that will no longer be active but never forgotten from the EMS. On call for life and never forgotten. Thank you, guys. All right, moving ahead. Motion for approval of minutes from the December 17th meeting.
Motion.
Jamie, second.
I'll second.
All right. Any corrections, objections, concerns? We'll show them. Al? We'll show them approved. Let's get right into standing reports. Program agency coordinator, please.
So we've been busy here in the office, both working on grant stuff for the state program agency and REMSCO grants, jumping through the hurdles with those, as well as knee deep, as most of you are aware, in the COVID vaccinations, trying to get the links out as we get them, because the state system has been less than responsive. So Dr. Talbot and myself have spent many evenings talking on the phone and battling through all this. So by now, it looks like most of our area EMS folks have received the vaccine that at least wanted it. I did a quick study just to try to put some numbers to it to see how we were with coverage and how many received it. And I was a little disappointed in what those numbers actually were showing. It looks like roughly 40% within the agencies that responded. And that was about 15 to 20 different agencies that responded to the survey. And we're only at right around 40%. We have some agencies that are better and many of them that are much worse than that. So that's all I'll say for now. I'm sure there'll be more as we go along.
John, what else have you got?
Oh, go ahead. You can move forward with the agenda.
Donna, I think you're up next.
Am I unmuted?
You're online. We can see you.
Oh, no. Can you hear me?
Can hear you too.
Okay. So most of the EMS classes for spring are not going to roll out until the very end of this month into February, because SUNY wanted face-to-face after February 1st. So those are still trying to get going yet. I'll go out a little bit longer rather than May. Some of them will go into June and such. So that's where we're regressing. As far as paramedic, Jake and I interviewed 31 different students, and they all started. And so that will progress through. I mean, right now we're working on trying to get some folks through hospital clinical time and ride time and such. So that's what we're working on. As far as I'm working on the AEMT kids to get those through as well.
I'm actually surprised you had that many applicants for the paramedic program, but very pleasantly surprised.
So am I. I was really shocked that there were that many, but, and he's got to do a little of, because they only want half capacity in the classrooms. We now have synchronized 3 classrooms so that we can put 10 in each classroom so that they all can be here.
Good. We're going to need every single one of them. All right. Very good. Anything else, Donna?
Not really. I mean, working with CPR because those CPR updates all go into effect February 1st. So I'm trying to remind all my instructors that they need to get their updates done and in so we can roll out this stuff.
All right. Excellent. We attended state meetings this past week. There was a lot of material discussed. A lot of minimal, not minimal, but small changes to the collaborative protocols that we'll just publish instead of going through them. But they were all good changes, and we will get those out to everyone as soon as we can. We brought forth the alternative med list for New York State. It was accepted without any further discussion or changes. We will get that out to everyone. Our SCT protocols that our group put a huge amount of effort into and brought forth a really nice product was reviewed. It was appreciated. They did not want to accept it at the state level. They're not ready for that, but we will start a rollout shortly in the region. We as a group of EMS physicians from the CMAC had approached the commissioner and the governor to allow our paramedics to be part of the vaccination process, that is giving vaccinations based on their current training and some local training. New York State felt that it was necessary for them to take a little more extensive course prior to them being able to give that vaccine. So there is an online course that's available, not just for paramedics, but for pharmacists and other ancillary services. You have to take the course. You have to show qualifications clinically. There is a form that needs to be signed off by your medical director. So those of you that are medical directors, you may start to see people approaching you, asking you to sign them off on their skills. Do what you feel is necessary to sign them off, and then please sign them off. The problem we have is there are currently almost 7 million people in the state of New York eligible for COVID vaccination. They vaccinated just under 1 million as of earlier this week, and we're only getting 250,000 doses a week. So for the time being, I don't see a strong need for EMS and other ancillary people to be providing those vaccinations because we just don't have the doses. As you know, Governor Cuomo is reaching out to Pfizer directly, trying to get more doses, and hopefully over the next few weeks, we will see more doses coming through, but I don't think there's any promise to that. For those that have family members and friends who want to be vaccinated, keep in mind, it's the quote, "Am I eligible" site on New York State that allows you to find out when you're eligible and to try and find a local vaccination site. So pass that word around, please. Those in EMS that have not been vaccinated and want to be vaccinated, as John said, reach out to your agencies or to the region. We'll try and get you vaccinations. For those of you that have a position where you can talk to others, if there's anyone that is questioning or does not want to get the vaccine but would like to get more information, please reach out to your medical directors. We have lost numerous EMS providers throughout the state and throughout the country. We don't really want to lose any more if we can avoid it. And I think most of us believe that the way to avoid further deaths is to get as many people vaccinated and immune as soon as possible. In the meantime, please reinforce the need to wear PPE. We are losing people to quarantine every week because they were not properly protected and transported a patient that they were not aware of was COVID. Please, please push PPE. If you're having a hard time getting PPE, reach out and we'll do what we can to help you. I'd like to thank all the local hospitals. I think we're pretty well represented today. I'm hearing a lot less complaints about physicians and other staff talking down to our paramedics and our EMS folks. They are putting themselves at amazing risks during these times. It's all stressful. We're all stressed. But I want to thank you all for continuing to work well together. It's greatly appreciated. John, do you have any letters from New York State that need to be discussed? I don't have any.
I do. I have 3 of them.
Would you like to mention them here?
Sure. So we have Chris Foy, who is in violation of Part 800, 15A, number 1 and number 2, and 800.3 AP2.
And Chris has been previously employed in this region.
Yeah, suspension for 1 year effective 12/18 of 20. This suspension is stayed for 3 and no, as long as there's no further violations in the next 3 years. A Hartfield Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated for violations of Public Health Law Article 30, 3012D, and 3006, and 10 NYCRR Part 800.15. They were assessed a civil penalty of $2,000. Suspension was stayed if there's no additional violations within the next 2 years. And then Carl Delago from the Bronx for violation of 10 NYCR Part 800.5A, 800.3 AM, and 800.3 EP. This one resulted in a voluntary surrender effective 11/24 of 20, and will not seek recertification at any time in the future. That's it.
All right, thanks, John. Just a little announcement. I did hear from Mel Horton from Corning AMR that there will be a funeral this Saturday morning from 11 to noon in Bath, and there will be an EMS processional shortly after that for Darrell Toombs, if anyone is so interested and can get to that area. Move ahead, RSI, RSA. I'm assuming that would be Lada?
Oh, I'll be real brief. I know we had other things to talk about. A couple things with the RSI. First of all, we will have a date for the class very soon. Probably going to be February 10th and February 24th. We had a survey for it, and there was a 3-way tie. So that was one of the popular ones. So I'm gonna see if that works for everybody. I should have that confirmed very soon. This is going to be the lecture portion of it, and it's going to be via Zoom. So we're going from there. We have about 30 people, I believe about 30 people for the class. So we'll go from there. At our RSI meeting, the RSI committee moved to approve the Honeywell Richmond ambulance to become an RSI agency. They were one of the provisional agencies in the first time we did that around. So the committee approved it. They have one provider who's currently RSI credentialed in the region. They have about 6 that need to be reciprocitized. So I'm looking for a motion and a second to go with the RSI committee's recommendation to approve Honeywell Richmond as an RSI agency.
It's a committee motion. You don't need a second.
Okay.
You need a vote by the REMAC members, though.
Yep.
All right. So is there anyone opposed to Honeywell Richmond being accepted as an RSI agency in the Finger Lakes region? All right. So that motion is passed.
Very good. And then the last thing I have for RSI is also coming out of the meeting is that Dr. Davidoff and the committee decided to go ahead and offer provisional RSI status for agencies that want it, effective at this meeting until July, August. I have not had any formal applications for that. I've had one provisional interest from Phelps Ambulance, but nothing formal, and that's the only agency that has reached out to me. If any agencies reach out to me, I will put them forth through the committee, and then if we need to, we can have a REMAC doc vote via email.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Mike. Are you also representing advanced practice?
Yep, we haven't had any meeting. We haven't had any topics recently coming up. We're gonna have a meeting probably February, just to see what we need to do for the upcoming year. I know the Article 30 is changes, the stuff with that, so we'll go from there.
And we're going to have the rollout for those SCT protocols coming up soon. So
Yes, we are.
and that again was an amazing piece of work. Thank you, everyone, to your committee.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Do we have anyone from EMS on? Ed, or did you sign on?
He did not, Jack.
Okay. I've been in touch with Ed as recently as just a few days ago, and obviously he sent his condolences for our losses, but didn't really have anything else to bring forth that I'm aware of. So we'll skip ahead. Mercy Flight, Aaron.
Yes, not much going on. We did have a webinar last week that was quite successful. We had well over 200 participants. So we'll be doing another virtual webinar April 14th. I think the save the date is out there. If not, visit our website and our Facebook page. That'll be on there, but it'll be another virtual opportunity for CMEs. And that's all we have.
Thank you. LifeNet Guthrie.
Nothing to add at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Finger Lakes Ambulance, anything you'd like to add?
Keeping the status quo, Phelps and Fishers, we're more than willing to sponsor for the temporary RSI if they want to reach out to us. I think Fishers already did.
All right, excellent. We'll see. I'm assuming that those two agencies will again want to move ahead, as I'm assuming Honey Richmond would, but we'll wait to see. All right, moving into the hospital.
Hey, Jack.
Sorry, guys.
We now have Brian Weedman on the call for.
Oh, Brian, welcome. Good timing. What have you got to add?
Brian, you're muted.
It says you are interested. And what you do is you show up the very first day, which is Wednesday, the 27th at 6 o'clock.
Unmute. How's that?
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Sorry, I ended up being a little late. I had another 9 o'clock that I did first, and then joined you guys a little late. It's just very busy. Other than just being all over the place with either vaccinations or testing or decanting, we're just very busy and all over the place. And if anyone has any questions, I can answer them.
But we are asking people to do the tuition upfront. And then if you get to the very end, you will have to.
I'm hearing the hand come through on the backside.
Is someone asking a question? I apologize.
Nope. Go ahead, Jack.
Okay. All right, someone's unmuted. Brian, we appreciate you joining the group. Welcome. I guess we don't have any current questions, but if you can stick around for a little bit, it's not uncommon for us to require a little additional assistance from the state level during these meetings.
No problem. I'll be here. Okay.
Thank you. All right, we'll move into the hospitals. Thompson Health, anything to report?
I don't have anything compelling to report. I just want to give like a quick general situation understand regionally is probably very similar. You know, our volumes generally down about 10%, although the acuity is up. Over this last week, it looks like there's a little bit of a light shining through the clouds, and it seems like we've had a bit of a downtick in terms of our COVID positive. We maxed out hospital-wide at probably a census of 115% of our normal capacity, of which 40% were COVID positive. Again, that has come down since the peak about a week and a half ago. We too, like probably everyone else, have been struggling with people out related to COVID, both positive and on quarantine. Although again, our staff seems to be improving. All of our staff that are willing to receive the vaccine have had an opportunity to get it. And right now we're essentially at full strength from a physician and APP provider perspective, and about down 10% from nursing and technical staff. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. And I hope you continue to have healthy staff, as to everyone. Clifton Springs, Jim?
Morning.
Morning.
So we've continued to stay pretty busy at Clifton. We have definitely seen a downtick across Rochester Regional as a whole, more of a downtick out on the west side of the city than the east side. So Newark and Clifton have remained pretty busy. We've still been running well over 100% capacity, and have been doing some boarding in the ED, which fortunately we've tend to avoid. Otherwise, we do continue to, we've seen a gradual downtick in the kind of percentage of admitted COVID patients. So hopefully that continues. Otherwise, nothing else on the radar this month.
Thank you. Geneva General Soldiers and Sailors, Matt.
Similar trends that Matt and James were referring to. Thankfully, we have seen decline from our peak, where we were boarding frequently at both sites, and have had excellent response to the vaccine from the medical staff, as well as the employee base at large. I believe we've vaccinated 90% of the medical staff at this point. So hoping that the COVID trend continues downward, but preparing, obviously.
All right, thank you. Newark Wayne.
I can step in for Marita. This is Tyler. It sounds like Marita's on a clinical shift right now and wasn't able to get out of it. No major issues from her end. She asked if we want to discuss Fitch study stuff, we can do that. And our volumes, obviously, like James said, similar to everybody else's.
So Tyler, what Tyler was alluding to is Wayne County had the Fitch Corporation come and do a study on the Wayne County EMS system and brought forth some information that needed to be discussed and some other action to be taken. I was able to sit in on one of their meetings recently, and they had some really good ideas that they're going to meet again and discuss and come up with some further ideas and concepts. And Tyler, I think if it's okay with you, let's wait till you guys get a little bit more and bring back a little more meat, if that's okay.
That sounds great. Thanks, Chad.
But yeah, please keep the ball rolling there and bring some material forth. I think a lot of the information, a lot of the stuff you guys are working on may not just be promising for Wayne County, but maybe of use throughout the region. So please keep that going. Again, I want to thank all the hospital systems for their part in vaccinating, not just their employees, but obviously our EMS folks. At one point, I think we had more EMS folks vaccinated in the Finger Lakes region than any place else in New York State, with the exception of maybe Fidney. And I think our percentage was higher. So again, I want to thank you all for doing that. What a super important thing it is to keep our folks on the road and providing care that they do. Old business, the nitroglycerin protocol was tabled. I don't believe we've had any action taken on that. John, do you think you want to have any further discussion? You want to continue that be tabled for now?
That's completely up to you. I think I don't think there's a huge draw on that at the moment. So having it tabled is fine with me.
Let's table it again, send it back to the ALS committee. and we'll move ahead with that at a later date.
Dr. David Off from SEMSCO, the last update on that is they are still waiting on a higher level approval of the reg changes for us to be able to move forward with the large volume vials. So that's the reg change is still sitting higher up.
So not even any preliminary discussion on that.
The last I knew, the Bureau filed for the reg change to the commissioner and the governor, and it still sits there.
I'll be nice and not say anything. Thank you. All right, the SET standards, again, a great piece of work. The rollout and training will be coming. The alternative medication list was approved, and that will be out soon. The vaccination training, please, if you have folks that are interested in assisting with vaccinations, I'd get them to take the class and get signed off. Should we start to see more vaccine come through, we may end up utilizing them. If nothing else, it is good CME and good information to know. Is there any other new business that anyone wants to bring forth?
Jack, the only thing I'll mention additionally for program agency is we have a virtual conference scheduled for February 26th and 27th. Have a number of lecturers and speakers already lined up, and that is moving forward. We may want to have the REMAC just approve the lecture content so we can offer CMEs for that. I can run down real quickly to with the topics, and we can go from there.
That would be great, John. Please do.
So I have Doug Wildermuth from is going to be doing one on behavioral health. Doug Tatlock will be doing one on CPAP. Amy Eisenhower will be doing a safe pediatric transport. Dr. Galton and Brandon Rossetti will be doing a sepsis and COVID workshop. Dr. Glick will be doing a head trauma. Samantha Green will be doing one called Invisible Wounds, the pandemic's effect on providers' mental health. We have an EMS documentation class being put on by Ivy Alderton. We have a stroke lecture, and we have a trauma case studies lecture presented by yourself and Fiona. And each of those are for 1 hour of lecture CME content. We may add a couple additional, but haven't gotten to that point yet. So just looking for the approval of those.
John, any pre-conference material?
No, because everything's virtual. I didn't want to overload people, and I mean, God knows we all have enough virtual stuff at this point.
Never enough virtual meetings.
So I wanted to try to keep them short, and in between each of the lectures, I provided where they can, you know, a 15-minute break so that they can at least get up and stand and, you know, go do whatever they got to do, and trying to keep their attention. If we did something that was too long of a session, I fear for lack of participation.
All right. Looking for a motion to approve the CME or the CME conference.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any objections? All right. As we go forth towards the CMS conference, I just want to offer a little bit of advice, and please spread the word around. These are virtual meetings. Everyone is showing live for the most part. So keep in mind that you are live. We can all watch what you're doing, and don't do anything that you want the rest of us to see. Like if you do have to take a bathroom break, please do not bring your computer or cell phone to the bathroom with you. With that, is there anything else that anyone would like to bring forth to this group?
Just one additional item, Jack. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The region, Donna and I have worked to put up a program, a CLI CIC update that has been distributed across the state for the content. And we'll be holding that on next week on the 26th and on the 28th. We have Dan Batsey doing that. And the Bureau has provided approval for offering CME credit for those instructors because they're required to have at least 3 hours of CME with a state approved number and an additional 6 hours of instructor level materials. To date, I have well over 70 people registered for this class. So that was quite shocking, and it's kind of nice to see everyone was thankful that we were doing that, because apparently there's not a lot of this type of training out there for the folks.
Excellent. All right, John, anyone else? Anything? All right, let's leave with thoughts about our fallen comrades, colleagues. Let's look after our current colleagues. Let's make sure that they are physically and mentally healthy. If there's anything we can do to help them, let's do it before it's too late. And let's stay safe. Our next meeting is scheduled for March 16th. I hope to see all of you then, and stay well, gang. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.